This is my morning vlog, my first morning vlog. I'm not much of a morning person, um, but I'm gonna be a morning person for y'all today. I'm chilling with Tata, sitting in my lap. I didn't really dream that much last night, which is weird because I've been having like a pretty good past couple weeks of pretty vivid dreams, which I've been semi-recording. Although I did used to keep a dream journal when I was in middle school and high school. I used to write down all my dreams. In elementary school, I didn't really do that. I just remembered my dreams generally. I do think keeping a dream journal helps you remember your dreams more if you wanted to look into them for whatever reason. And I'll have a future video sometime on dream interpretation, how to interpret your dreams. Should you interpret your dreams? Are you wasting your time? Are you being enchanted by something evil and wicked? That type of stuff, right? I'm a bit happier these days. I like the pace that things are going at a little more. You know, before I was talking about how disappointed I was with uh, the speed that life was going at, but I look back at the past couple months and I see how concentrated the past couple months were with just activities and things. Look at the past couple months of your life, and if there's enough stuff that happened in them for you to be like, okay, that's whatever, then you're fine. If things genuinely didn't happen in that span of time, then your life genuinely is like fucked up basically, and you have like a giant issue. I don't think I have that issue though. I feel pretty good, honestly. This gon' this gonna be what we eating today, cuh. Got a garlic bagel, some coffee. I just drink mine black. I don't really put much stuff in it. I just prefer it black. Maybe I'll put a little milk in it, or I'll put like sometimes vanilla extract or honey. But I usually just drink mine black. I prefer it black. It's a nice flavor. I'm not a soy guy. I don't drink coffee every morning. You know, I don't want to be one of those people who's addicted to like their little gadgets and stuff. Because you see people now, people are addicted to the smallest little things. You know, I don't have anything against coffee. I don't even have anything against nicotine. I think nicotine is actually good for you. It can fight neurodegenerative disease. It makes you smarter. It makes you sexier. It's just an overall good thing. Maybe cigarettes are bad, but there's healthier cigarettes. It's just mad good for you, bruh. Another time, I'll talk about the anti-nicotine agenda. Right? How is it that marijuana has less stigma about it than nicotine, huh? It's absolutely crazy. It's a depraved world we live in. Your body is a temple and it needs incense to clean it. I do hate people that do say, I can't get up without my coffee. Don't talk to me unless I've had my coffee. I don't drink coffee every morning. I drink coffee to, if I do get up like extra early for something, I do drink some, but I really try not to drink it every morning. Genuinely. I try not to ever rely on it. I just think it's a nice thing to have because I enjoy it. You know what I mean? You shouldn't ever be excessive about it. You shouldn't ever be dependent on drinking coffee. And I do understand that some people have to drink it because of the job they work or whatever. Me personally, I'm not under any obligation like that, okay? I don't have to be doing that. Why am I gonna get hooked on something when I don't, you know what I mean? When I don't need it. As for nicotine, uh, I really only smoke like a couple times a month. There's a long period of time where I quit altogether, and then I got back into it, but I really just, if so long as you don't make like a routine out of smoking, uh, like, oh, I'm gonna do it every like smoke break or every time before I enter a building. I just do it whenever I feel like it. Only time I smoke is really like if I want to walk around like the city or the neighborhood. I just want to chill for a second, sit on a bench. You know, the thing with Newport, it's all about the packaging, man. It's all about that beautiful packaging, man. As a kid, I used to hate people who smoked cigarettes and drank coffee. For the same reason, I hated moms who would drink wine and talk about it. Whenever I was at school, when I was in third grade or fifth grade, really just the whole time I was in elementary school, and I'd see uh, the predominantly woman staff talking about drinking coffee every morning or drinking alcoholic beverages when they would go home. I remember it really used to like put me off as a kid, and I think it's because as a kid I knew that there was something evil about ritualized behavior like that, where you know, these women would uh, you know, drink coffee to tone down their like antisocial tendencies or something. Like that's how I interpreted it as a kid. You know, these teachers, they hated dealing with kids. They hated dealing with me. They always hated me. They never wanted to be around me, right? So they had to drink coffee to stomach being with me. Like that's always how I viewed it. And these teachers talking about meeting up after school and drinking wine together at a restaurant. Like it pissed off uh, 8-year-old me. The thing with teachers talking about stuff like that, it's not the fact that adults had things that they could enjoy that kids couldn't do that pissed me off. Because I understood that, you know, you have to be old enough to enjoy certain things properly. Like I knew that. And I also knew that adults didn't have to share every aspect of adult life with kids. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, adults are going to want breaks from dealing with annoying, booger eating kids all day. I knew that. That's not what pissed me off. It was the ritualized expression of these things, such as coffee or alcoholic beverages, and them expressing dependency on these things that pissed me off. The whole jaded late 30s, 40s, 50-year-old women, don't talk to me unless I've had my coffee. I think child me was able to see past the sarcasm. I always hated sarcasm like that. And I picked up as a kid something that I still do now, which is like a negative character trait, where whenever someone is being sarcastic in conversation in kind of like a detached way, um, I'll intentionally take their sarcasm literal to ground them in reality and attack them, because that always pissed me off as a kid. Like, huh? What did you mean by that? So you're saying this? You feel this way? Yeah, I could tell. I don't like you. Like I do that. I generally do that. Um, and I think I picked it up specifically because of that. And as a kid, I knew that something about the whole coffee thing. As a kid, I was aware somehow of the like Gen X Reich that was controlling America. That absolutely pissed me off. My parents watched a show called Parks and Rec, and that also warrants its own live or vlog or something for me to talk about, to fully convey to you guys my anger, my generational bigotry. But seeing these moms and these teachers and stuff, I I knew about their jadedness, and I knew as a kid intrinsically that this is what being a Democrat was all about. No lie, I knew a kid who was sped, who his mom left him at school uh, because she wanted to catch an early happy hour that started at like 4 p.m. so she could swing by and get him again at like 6 p.m. And I thought that that was crazy to me. That gave me like an epiphany as a kid. This type of person that I absolutely hated as a kid, as I grew up, I realized that it was just Democrats. It was just female Democrats, basically. The same people who, when COVID was happening, they were making like Lady Gaga, Dr. Fauci song parodies where they're talking about watching Netflix documentaries about Tiger King, and they're drinking red wine, and they have these like decentish houses. I hate these people. I really do. I absolutely hate these people. And I hope that my contempt, I hope it turns into pity. These women talking about, I need my mommy time. I need my mommy time. I hate my kids. I'm not gonna. I need my mommy time. I'm gonna go hang out with other insane, neurotic, bitchy women, and I'm going to uh, relish in these little decadent like idiosyncrasies, like savoring the food in my mouth for longer than like 5 seconds, and really taste every flavor viscerally and take my time eating, and be all elegant in like a feminine, in a cold feminine kind of way. And I'm gonna be super Democrat. I'm gonna be super liberal. I did vote for Hillary Clinton in the election. I'm going to whine about how much educators are paid, and I need my mommy time. I need my mommy time. They, you should substitute children with Republicans. I need my space away from Republicans. I can't be around Republicans. Republicans, they get in the way of mommy time. And suddenly it makes so much sense. This is why I am a MAGA American Republican. It's because of these insane moms. They've pushed me over the edge, and I hate them completely. I'm working on it. Okay, I'm trying not to harbor this much hatred in my heart. But they really pushed me over the edge. Not that I even have to really interact with them that much. I just remember they were the most bitchy people when I was going to school. Just insane micromanaging. Uh, I always questioned their authority as a kid. Like they would scold me for walking too fast in the hallway, stuff like that. And it's just, you don't have any authority over me. You're a frail I I thought this as like a fourth grader. You're like a frail woman who is a complete utter failure. Your children probably hate you. I bet you're actually divorced. You know, why are you trying to scold me? You're trying to like smother me with your like weird fake motherhood instincts. You're trying to be like this. There's a reason why elementary schools they are dominated by women, and I don't think that they should be. I think that there should be more men in elementary schools because it would fix so many problems in our country if there were simply more men in elementary school. There's way too many like neurotic women that are teaching elementary schools right now, and they are corrupting our youth genuinely with their anti-patriarchal worldviews that they got from watching TV. I will speak more on this in the future, but all I can say now is witchcraft is, and Jay Dyer had a good thing about this actually. Uh, Not that I really watched Jay Dyer all that much, but he had a good little thing that he was talking about witchcraft re-entering popular culture through this kind of jaded femininity. And the worst part about it is that they are super involved with children now. You know what I mean? They may hate uh, taking care of children, and they may actually like genuinely hate children. Yet, funnily enough, they tend to work in schools a bunch, and I don't really know what's up with that. But it's got to stop for sure because they're gonna produce more criminals because young jits gonna be raised by these women effectively, gonna be raised by the state, and they're gonna realize how stupid and impotent authority is, and then they're gonna start shooting people. I think. Uh, that's about all I have to say for this, though. I'm not telling you you should be resenting all these people. Oh, I do want to say I had a crazy teacher who was like insanely addicted to coffee every morning. You know, couldn't go without her coffee. Would talk about, and this was in high school actually, and I had her a couple times. Addicted to coffee, and uh, would talk about like her little wine parties with the other teachers. So little Matt, little childhood Matt in me stays vindicated. It's not that I thought that if a teacher talked about drinking a single glass of wine, they were an alcoholic. I never thought of it like that at all. I just thought that the exclusivity of the activity, wherein they would gossip about children and other people, I picked up on that as being really stupid as a kid. And it's just literally as I grew older, I became more and more vindicated about this type of person as you know, I picked up on other idiosyncrasies. But when I was in high school, I had a teacher who was, uh, one of those coffee addicts. They would go to school listening to NPR in their car, and I kid you not, they would constantly talk about how much they loved NPR, like every day. And they showed us crash course videos like all the time. Sometimes instead of like actually teaching. And I kid you not, she gave her kids black Barbie dolls and she sent them to a Jewish preschool, not because they were Jewish, but literally just so they could be around other Jewish kids. Uh, she would constantly, whenever there was like a black teacher, he was a good guy, and she would constantly just praise him and stuff for being black and being a teacher. And she was insane, dude. She's actually insane. She would talk about there's like a weird thing though where she would constantly talk negatively about her kids, and then at the same time she would talk about how obsessed she was, and she would be like she had like a weird love hate relationship with her children that she would talk about like in class. And she literally said in class one time, she was like, when you're a mom, you're gonna realize that like you love your kids so much, and even when they're sick, you're okay with them coughing on you, and you just want to eat their boogers. You just want to eat their boogers and their earwax. And it's like, damn, bitch, chill out. You know, why are you acting like that? You got no reason to be acting like that. Super Democrat, insanely Democrat, dude. Just insanely left leaning, insane persecution complex as a woman. We'll talk about the evangelicals are taking away our country, and it's going to be the evangelicals setting up womb farms, and it's going to be a Christian dystopia. And, uh, you know, she read young adult fiction books. She showed us a documentary that was made by Obama's campaign manager or something about the new Jim Crow that's taking over America and is ruining everybody's lives. And basically, the Republicans were the Jim Crows, and Donald Trump was the return of the Jim Crows because he's a populist and he would be calling on people in the audience to remove them. And there is a scene in the documentary of Trump calling someone and being like, take him out. You know, law enforcement doesn't act fast enough these days, or something like that. And they showed like they compared that to old like Jim Crow politicians pointing at African Americans in the crowd to be removed, or something like that. And the funny part is that I found the clip of Trump like naturally that was in the documentary, and he was telling he's basically telling the cops to remove a KKK guy from the audience. He wasn't telling them to remove a black person. He wasn't telling them to remove someone with like a pro Democrat shirt. He was telling them to remove someone who either had a shirt or a sign that said the KKK loves Trump. And I stood completely vindicated when I saw the clip. I was like, wow, that's the biggest like it's almost like cartoonish how deceptive the documentary was, that they would lie about Trump in such a, like there's so many things to criticize him about probably, and they chose the one thing out of like everything he's done that was like good, that like everybody would agree with. That's like uh, accusing someone of being anti-Semitic and comparing them to Hitler, calling Jews out in a crowd, when the full context of the clip is the guy telling someone to remove a guy wearing a swastika shirt. It's actually like that insane. How could you make such an insane accusation that is just completely reality defying, right? And when I saw that documentary in class, I wish I remembered the name. If you guys know what documentary I'm talking about, let me know in the comments below, because I'd love to watch it again. It was totally crazy when we watched it in class, but dude, she used to just rant and rave about Trump. She'd watch Trump clips on the screen, and then she would end up like screaming about it and like getting like turning red from talking about him. And keep in mind, this wasn't in like 2016. This was in like 2021, 2022, which made it worse. Just absolutely crazy, insane teacher. Uh, that's a dangerous person to. Well, that material is obviously like evil, but the teacher was more evil though. You should not allow people like that to be in classrooms in America. You know what I mean? You should not let overly emotional, resentful, crazy, victimhood complex women teach in schools at all. They're going to damage our country. They're going to tear it apart. You know, she, because most of the people in my class were like a minority of some sort. Maybe they were either Puerto Rican or black. I was like one of the few kids who wasn't black or Puerto Rican in the class at all. And she would constantly try to appeal to their minority sensibilities by bringing up personal anecdotes of like, now I'm half Portuguese, so I'm white, but I'm racially ambiguous, but I think I'm mostly white passing. And I remember my dad kicked me out of the house, and I was homeless, and I didn't have anywhere to go, and I spent a lot of time trying to make myself look pretty. I was going to college to be an English teacher or study English, and someone said, "Look at that white bitch over there." I was like, "Excuse me." I may look like I'm rich, like a rich white girl, but I actually suffered a lot. Fuck you! And she just had this whole crazy thing about her, right? And I stood vindicated from that, because it's the same type of crazy woman that I dealt with in elementary school, who hated little kids and still like worked with them and would vent out their frustrations on these kids. Like, I have to deal with this all day. I have to deal with you guys all day long. And like try to guilt trip kids basically into, you know, following orders that were super arbitrary. And it's like, because these women are so frail and impotent and their words have no weight or authority, they have to appeal solely to emotion. Which is why kids end up disrespecting them, and then the women, in response to that, they have to lash out in irrational ways. My high school teacher was not too different from that, although she didn't necessarily hate children. She was like a very petty kind of authority, and I always hated that about her, and it just had me think about the world in general, what matriarchy looks like. And I'm not saying, once again, I'm not saying women can't teach. I'm just describing like a specific genre of person within like a certain age group, and like they're just insufferable people to deal with. But it all goes back to the focus on everyday little gadgets and things like coffee. Goes back to small. It comes back to a dependency and it all comes back to a dependency and overemphasis that I think reveals the neuroticism of these people. But the dependency and overemphasis of small everyday items like coffee and then like wine. I think the overemphasis of these things and how big of a factor it is in their life for, allowing them to operate kind of shows how crazy they are. It reveals like the micromanaging crazy tendencies in these people. And I'm saying that wine moms, dude, they were watching Mad Tiger King on the Netflix during COVID, man. We can't let these people have authority over children. Just saying, we can't have it. This is my PSA. That's about it.
Leave her alone now. I said leave her alone. Leave her alone before I get angry.
Don't lay a finger on her, Buster.
You touch her again? Ah!